Hello, grade six. Welcome to Tuesday, December 14th. I just want to go through the assignments you have for today, and then give you some time to get started. So, we talked yesterday about our learning objectives for this week, and our question today is how can I learn from my peers? So, we said that one of the things we were going to do is expand on our understanding of the seven spokes through conversations with your classmates, but that can be difficult in multiple time zones. So, we're going to talk about using Flipgrid today. Um, you are watching the video now. Some of you might need to submit some missing work. You've definitely gotten emails from Miss Jones if I'm still missing your work. Grades are going in tomorrow, so you know who you are. And those of you who have submitted your work, you also know who you are, and you shouldn't have anything to really stress out about. But work was due last Friday for most of us. Of course, those of you that have communicated with your teachers, we know that in every situation in life, there's different circumstances and things, and as that go on, they're out of our control. So as long as you've communicated well, then you should be aware of what is missing still and what you need to get submitted. So that should be your first priority. For those of us that are done with that, you might want to check for some feedback on Google Classroom. Um, I attached the rubric to the visual, and that actually covers Noodle Tools and the visual. I put the whole rubric for the entire unit on there, which you will recall was posted as an assignment a while ago, just the rubric, so you could have a look at it. And the four different standards that are on there, two English language arts one and two social studies. So you can check to see your scores on those standards and any comments I've made. I am not opposed to looking back at someone's work again if they take the feedback and make changes. I think that's part of the learning process. And so if you are to go to check on feedback, Google Classroom, and you see a comment talking about a mistake you made in Noodle Tools that forced Miss Jones to give you a score that you didn't necessarily want, and you know that you can do better, then you can go make that change and send me an email telling me that you've made changes. Okay. And then the next thing is your Flipgrid submission. We'll get to there in just a moment. So watch the video for today, make sure all your work's been submitted, and check for feedback, then the Flipgrid. All right, so first place you're going to need to go is Google Classroom because that's where your feedback is, and that's also where you'll find a link to Flipgrid. And then when you're finished with Flipgrid, you'll go to CNN 10. So let me scroll out here. In our assignment today on this one, you're going to see a link here to Flipgrid. I have already invited everyone from grade six to our Flipgrid group. And so this should work. But if it doesn't, in the instructions, I've added the join code for our group. Okay. So just in case. So you're going to click that link. It might show this. If I hit log in, it's going to automatically log me in because I already have an account in this computer. But if it gives you a Google login code where it says, join with Google, go ahead and click that and make sure it's your ICS Google account. And if that's not working for some reason, then you can put the join code here. Okay. So, oops, I did that twice. So you're going to see something looks a little bit like this. So here's a chance to present about your civilization. I have set the limit for 5 minutes, but it can be short and to the point. So here's the question. What is the most significant thing you learned about civilization through your research? Think about significance and cooperation in your answer. You can probably, or sorry, you can and probably should use your visual in some way. But here is Miss Jones' biggest pet peeve. Please do not read out loud to us. Talk to us and teach us. You know that when Miss Jones is giving lessons in the classroom, I do not simply put a bunch of text on the board and just talk and read it at you for 30 minutes. That would be incredibly boring. And even now, I'm not reading this to you and then just moving on. I am talking to you, even though it's a one sided conversation at the moment. Okay. For those of you, let me go ahead and show you what this would look like from the student view who are new to Flipgrid. That's okay. This is a learning process. And I know that we haven't done it um, too detailed in class. So it's a little bit unfair. I don't expect perfection this first time, but Flipgrid's fun. And I have to be honest, the way Miss Jones learned it was by doing this with a bunch of other teachers for some of our onboarding when I returned after the first year of COVID. we couldn't all be on campus right away because we were quarantining, and so we had to kind of try to find a way to chat with each other and to add responses. And so I had to figure it out the hard way. And you might have to allow your camera. I've blocked mine for now. But there's actually some really cool stuff that can be done with Flipgrid, with adding pictures and adding like I'll do almost like voiceovers, like Miss Jones is doing now in a way. So you can see like the options button down here. So you could upload some pictures and do the mic only. There's some really cool backdrops and effects that could be done. I know Miss Jones is not usually one who likes to be the center of attention on videos and things. So when I did this for the first time, I uploaded pictures of what I wanted to share. And like you could record your screen with your presentation first. Okay. So there's lots of options here, but play around with it, play around with the effects and the backdrop. You can add text and all kinds of really cool stuff in here. So I've given you that as the bulk of your work today for those of you who are caught up on everything. So go ahead and give Flipgrid a try. And then once you're finished with your response, you have CNN10. But don't forget to read the directions in here that says the question for this response is, what's the most significant thing you've learned about civilization through your research? All right. And then add any questions you have to the question box, and we'll come back and work on this again on Wednesday with some feedback for each other. There you go. So go ahead and get started.